Beautiful. We're going to start in banana asana. So come lying onto your back. Take your right heel to the right corner of your yoga mat. And then hook your left ankle over your right ankle, or just have your left leg next to your right leg. And then stretch your arms up over your head and pull your left arm to the right, so you're curving your whole body like a banana. And everyone together, take a full inhale and just sigh it out through your mouth. So we're starting in yin. And since we have the overhead lights on, feel free to close your eyes and see if that helps you check in. What are you bringing onto the yoga mat today? It could be remembering your dreams. It could be a strong feeling you woke up, or a very strong thought. Or maybe you're noticing your aches and pains, your energy. And after you've kind of noticed how you're doing, remember what it is that you want to cultivate. What are you feeding? What are you strengthening in yourself? Now think about this thing that you're strengthening in yourself. Do you encourage that in other people? Come on in. If you would just set up in the back row today. Is there someone behind you? No. Oh, it's totally cool. The door's open. And we haven't been too long on this side in banana asana. You can sneak into it. So I play games. I'm a player. No, I play games with these challenges that we have, that we want to cultivate something in ourselves. Do we actually help other people cultivate the same thing? Or when I find myself criticizing what someone else has done, or just riffing on like how bad something else is, I often will notice that I have the same imbalance, or I did something very similar a couple minutes later. But it ties this process of self-knowledge and self-becoming to our experience of the world. So as we notice what we are so mean about or so particular about outside of ourselves, we want to take that reflection and bring it back to us. As we decide what we want to work for in ourselves, to take that same gesture and see how can you engender that in other people. Plays to this truth of we are one. We are a whole. It's only together that we're the organism of humanity. So make your way back to center. Wiggle, moan, groan, maybe even cry a little. And then take your left heel to the left corner of your yoga mat. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle, or right next to your left leg. Stretch your right arm over your head. So you really feel like you're pulling your arm and it's stretching all your intercostal muscles here. My wish is for us to, as a humanity, grow in such a way that all of us are making that kind of choice, right? So how can I make a choice that's empowering for me and empowers the people who are making that choice happen? Like, this is my thing, one of the things with organic food. Like, yeah, sure, it's good for your body. But what it's really good for are the people picking it, the people handling it, the whole earth. You notice when someone is really themselves, that you have more ease to be yourself. Or feeling of permission. We want to start to notice how much we affect everything that we meet. And in turn, how much everything affects us. We can't live through a day unchanged. And what do you leave changed in your wake? As my good friend Orland Bishop says, leave your goodness behind you. Like there's no commodity of like being good. But doing good, acts of generosity, acts of kindness, acts of empowerment. You can be generous with those, rich in your actions. And then start to wiggle your way back to center, moan and groan. And then hug your knees to your chest and just start to rock and roll back and forth in your spine. And then see if you can get enough momentum to jump back in chaturanga. What? Yeah, I said it. Whatoo! So it's a little like your wake-up roll. And then take your vinyasa, either go to the ground for a low cobra or exhale to downward facing dog. And then take your feet for a walk and walk your feet up to your hands. And we're going to do kind of a yin-y forward bend. So take your feet as wide as your hips or a little bit wider, and then bend your knees so your ribs can drop down and touch your thighs, and then maybe hook your hands into the crease of your elbows. Let your head hang. And get to know your feet a little bit. So roll to the outside edges of your feet. Feel that you can lift up the inner edge. And then roll to the inside edge of your feet and feel that you can lift up the outer edge. And then roll back to center and feel that you're connecting to the ground through the ball of your big toe, the ball of your little toe on each foot, the inside of your heel and the outside of your heel. And you can imagine you have an X on the bottom of your feet from the ball of your big toe to the outside of your heel, little toe, inside of your heel. And throughout your practice, you want to imagine that you're actually spreading your X out. You can sway your upper body if that helps you release a little bit, relax a little bit. Or you can find that the stillness does a nice and gentle tug on you. Bend your knees as much as you need to feel the connection. The most frightening thing I heard yesterday, or I read yesterday, was a good friend who said that he hasn't hugged someone in 200 days. So release your hands and just take your hands to your legs, to your feet, and squeeze. And squeeze your ankles. Maybe just squeeze around the front of your shin, the back of your calf. Bend into the back of your knees. Feel your luscious thighs. Yep, even just squeeze your butt for a moment, up luscious and heavenly. And then take your hands to your lower back and just a little open-fisted slapping. Open-fisted. That'd be like a loose fist, not slapping, punching. And then figure out, how would you give yourself a hug? You guys look awesome. And then release your hands and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Stretch up nice and tall. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Feel your fingernails growing tall. And then with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Step your feet together. And just take a silent moment to dedicate your class to someone who needs some love, attention, or just a mental hug if you can't put your arms around them. Close your eyes. Let your elbows be heavy. Instead, find that activity of you're squeezing your legs together and lifting up tall through the crown of your head. Your chin is slightly away from your chest, like someone's lifting you up by your ears. And let's sound 3 ohms. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. And then just release your hands down by your side. And for a moment, it's a very subtle movement. You want to feel that you're really lifting up the whole front of your body. So you quite literally lift your thighs up so your knees lift up. You lift your belly in and up. You lift up the front lip of your pelvic bowl. Your heart is lifted. Your chin is slightly lifted so that your gaze comes out even, and you're reaching through the top of your head. Now, this really only makes sense when we put it together with the back body. So as you reach with the top of your head, you want to drop your shoulders down and away from your head. You want to feel your tail tucking down to the ground. Like if you had a tail, you were trying to reach in between your heels. And you want to feel that you're pushing down with your heels, and you can feel that this motion happens as one. The lift in the front of your body helps you root down in the back of the body. Just like when you root down your feet, it's easier to stretch your arms up on the inhale. So stretch your arms up on the inhale. Maybe a hint of a smile for a joyful practice. And with your exhale, soften your knees and bow forward. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift. Glide your chest forward to a flat back. And then step back to plank. And let's breathe here. So this is the dramatic version of standing in mountain. You want to feel that you're lifting up in between your shoulder blades. I swear I won't pick on just you. So push into my hand. Yes. Feel your heels reaching back. Feel your chest reaching forward, and then have that L shape between your chin and your chest. So you're looking a little bit forward, like you're looking more towards the front of your mat. And you're going to keep that gaze, and you're going to inch forward to your tippy toes and lower maybe through chaturanga all the way down to the ground. Let your toes flip over, root your toes, and with your inhale, lift up cobra, low cobra. Exhale, relax down to the ground. Now take your arms out wide. I was like dramatic baby cobra. Lift up. And then release back down. Slide your hands back to where they were. Same motion. Inhale, low cobra. And then with your exhale, push back to your knees and then come to downward facing dog. Now bend your knees a little bit so you can reach your booty up to the sky. You want to feel that you have a little bit of a curve in your lower back. It's like the bottom of the J. Feel the lift in the front of your legs still, and feel the drop in the back of your legs. Close your eyes for just a moment and see that you have the same weight in your hands and your feet. If you have more weight in your hands, just bend your knees a little deeper. Take another full inhale. Let your knees drop lower, your heels lift up. Empty your breath all the way. Look in between your hands, and then lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet. Grow all the way up to the ceiling. Stretch up tall. And with your exhale, come back down. Bow forward. I know, I just went to that one. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel your belly engaged. Now step back to plank again. And this time, you're going to try Ashtanga Namaskar. So from plank, you drop your knees, your chest, and your chin. Your elbows squeeze in, your butt's in the air. You look like an inchworm. And then slide forward. Come into baby cobra, low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Find a little micro bend in your knees, if not more. And if you hyperextend your elbows, you can even try bending your elbows a little bit and then spinning the pointy side of your elbows towards one another. Take another full inhale, fuel up. Let your heels lift, your knees bend, empty your breath all the way. Look forward in front of you and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet, roll up to the sky, stretch up tall. We're going straight back. With your exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to plank. Now you can do either one that we did before, or this time just lower halfway down, chaturanga, elbows and shoulders the same height. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Your thighs never touch the ground. Awesome. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale, slide into upward facing dog. It's kind of, you can do a zoop-de-zoop, or just however you want to get there. Now, just for a moment, get really lazy with your legs. Let them drop down to the ground. Yeah. Do you immediately feel it in your lower back? Now, get very active. So you're pointing your big toes straight back. Your thighs are engaged, your kneecaps lift off, and your thighs float over the yoga mat. Now, feel the difference in your lower back. Now, reach your chest in front of your shoulders. Keep pointing with your big toes, your perfectly sized toes. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. Find the ease, either stillness or movement, no matter whichever one you need. But just take a second and notice what made sense in your body today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. So the activity of your legs, the power in your legs shows up as freedom in your spine. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Now this time you're going to bend your knees deeply, drop your hips, inhale, Katasana. And let's breathe here a little bit. So if we're practicing to be peacemakers, one of the things that we have to try to do is go against the current. It's so easy to fight. We've been trained to do it our whole life. So everybody nearly across the world hates this pose. So let's see where we can make friends with it. Find the weight in your heels, feel your legs squeezing together, and notice that when you extend your arms as much as you can, even your fingers, they become lighter. Now notice what you can do internally to make this lighter still. Bianca's like, I'm thinking of some mudras. Find the weight in your heels. Let your hips drop a little lower as your heart stays lifted. Let your shoulders drop. Lift your gaze. Take another full inhale. You're so beautiful. And then with your exhale, bow down. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And then jump to chaturanga or step to plank and lower ashtanga namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, bring your right knee to your nose like you're sniffing your knee. Your back is arching, your belly lifting up. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, do it again. Pull it in tight. Lift up like a cat. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward to your thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. Your back legs lifted and strong. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or your back bend of this morning. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Keeping your hips squared ideally. Bring your knee to your, that's your nose. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, pull your knee in tight again. Feel your belly lift up, your back arch. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, bring your foot the same path all the way forward to your thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. And then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Feel you're actively reaching your butt up and back. Notice if you're starting to get a little warmer, allowing your ujjayi breath to be like bellows that are stoking your fire. You're perfect, no worries. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward and sail your feet in between your hands. Inhale, nice one. Halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center with your exhale. Open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga or ashtanga namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, tap your left elbow. So same, belly lifts up, arching a little bit. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale again, tap it. Inhale, stretch long. This time, step your right foot all the way to your right hand. Back heels lifted. Rise up, crescent lunge, and let's breathe. So drop your hands to your hips. You want to feel that your hips are squared forward and the same height. And then keeping your hips squared, see if you can lunge a little deeper and push your left heel back a little further. Now imagine you're growing space between your ribs and your hips. This is another way to get to the Uddiyana Bandha. And then stretch your arms up. Now, with that strong legs, you can feel that you're squeezing your inner thighs together, even though they're moving in opposite direction. And then see if maybe that will support a little back bend here. Take a full inhale as your heart lifts. And with your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale here. And then exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Trying to build our fire, stoking up our heat. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, tap your right elbow. Inhale, left leg long. Exhale, tap your right elbow or higher. It's hard. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. So maybe you need to drop your hands again to find your hips. They're really hard to feel. We kind of lose consciousness as we go into our body. And then see, are you working more with your right leg or your left leg? Balance it out. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Feel how that activates. That support allows you to lift up and find more freedom in your back bend. So explore if that's true. Take another full inhale and sail on your exhale all the way to twisting Anjaneyasana. Inhale here through your fingertips, and with your exhale, little dancey, open up to warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. I found sound effects can help. And with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, lead with your heart. So you really lift your chest, get strong with your legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. Feel your booty reaching up for the heaven. Now walk your feet a little bit closer to your hands, and we're going to do 5 donkey kicks before we jump our feet in between our hands. So a donkey kick is like, pretend like you're a donkey, and you bend your knees and you try to kick your feet up like you're a mad donkey, and you want to land quietly. So you bend your knees as you're landing. You might get stuck in the air with your hips over your shoulders. Yes, exactly. And then maybe on your last one, see if you can hop lightly in between your feet. Nice. Bend your knees, drop your booty, inhale, Utkatasana. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center. With your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee and take it to your right elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch up. Try it again. Exhale, bring your right knee, right elbow. Enjoy a push-up, even if it's a little one. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale here. Then exhale, open up warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then with your exhale, fly underneath your right thigh. Stretch out your airplane wings. Your belly's lifting up. Your hands are stretching out, palms facing down. Other way. And then with your exhale, you're going to bring your left hand down, let your left heel lift up, and enjoy a nice lizard twist. Open up here. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Throwing in a running man if you want. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale again. Left knee, left elbow, enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch long. With your exhale, pull your knee to your chest and then step your foot all the way to your thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Take the breath here. Inhale, open up warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, fly underneath your left thigh. Reach through your fingertips, palms pushing down to push the air below you so your chest lifts. And then you're going to bring your right hand down as your right heel lifts up and wave your left arm up, lizard twist. Let your back heel lift up, Bianca. You'll find more freedom in your hips. And then with your exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing doggy. Exhale, downward facing doggy. Now, step your feet halfway-ish to your hands. You want to see if you can step about halfway and have your hands still flat on the ground. If you can't, then just move your feet back a little bit. Then step your feet together. And first, you're going to lift up onto both of your biggest toes you can find on your feet. See if you can, beautiful, nice pair. Good, Izzy. Lift up a little higher onto your, just like your big toenails. Yes, nice. And then lift up a couple times, 2 or 3 times. See if you can jump up. You could lift all the way into handstand if you want, or you just work on it. That was lovely. So if you start to, play with it, you might find that you're balancing in the middle of the air. You just hang out there. And then find your way, float your feet in between your hands. You can do that straight from handstand. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. And now separate your feet hip distance apart and squat down into goddess. This is just a transition here. And you're lift your chest already, because we're like slamming hot goddess, not the crone grandma goddess. Now we're gonna try crow. And if it's easy for you, you can come right into it and just hold it, or practice one-legged crow. You can also, if you've never lifted up into crow, take your hands a little bit wider than shoulders. And then find your knees as high up into your armpits as you can. And then you lift up onto your toes, and you start to glide your weight towards your fingertips. And maybe lift up one toe, maybe lift up the other, bring your big toes to touch, and then lift your feet towards your groin, and your gaze comes forward. You're breathing. And then see if you can jump back to chaturanga. Ooh, yeah. Inhale, up your dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And bend your knees. Let them be a little bit soft here. Now step your right foot halfway to your right hand. Stretch your left leg up to the sky. Hands flat on the ground. Lift up to your big right toenail, or just the tip of your toenail. Straighten your left leg up to the ceiling, and you can do a little, if you have a different version you like to get into handstand with, play with that. And 3 times, lift up. So you're either lifting your foot like a centimeter or like all the way up into handstand. The hardest thing is to bring your hips over your hands. That's awesome, Bianca. I like your little slidey to get in there. Yeah. And then switch your legs. So your left foot comes down. Stretch your right leg up. Pull your belly up, lift up to your big toe. And then just enough to get a piece of paper underneath your foot, or all the way into handstand, playing with balance. If you fall, you want to drop and roll like you're on fire, so you don't want to fight the distance, you want to roll with it. And then walk your feet in between your hands and come into goddess pose. Yes, that was nice. And then we're going to come into crone goddess. So you're actually going to let your back curve, and you can walk your hands and let your hands drop in front of you. I mean, this is really sad grandma goddess. Like turtle goddess, like Mother Earth goddess, like I'm round like a ball. And then you're going to spin your heels out and come into a forward bend here. And then toe heel your feet together. Bend your knees, drop your booty, inhale, Utkatasana. And with your exhale, see how low you can go with your hips. And then inhale, stand up all the way your tippy toes. And then keep your heels lifted. Lift your heels while you sink your hips down. Keep your heels lifting, Come all the way down. And then roll onto your butt. Catch your thighs. And Navasana. So you can keep your knees bent, feet and knees the same height. Lift your chest. This is the hard thing to keep lifted. Yeah, you can imagine, it's like what Abraham Lincoln said. The road to success is not losing your enthusiasm through your failures. Oh, look, I messed up. I'm still into this. All right, exhale, low boat. Inhale, high boat. Exhale, low boat. Inhale, high boat. Low boat. High boat. I'm freaking out, boat. Ah, the world is going crazy. Oh, and it's getting lower, and place your feet on the ground. Knees bent. Inhale, bridge. You can go straight to wheel if you want. But for most of us, we're going to take bridge. Now, you want to feel these opposites again. Remember when we were standing, we rooted down to rise up? Here, let your knees move away from you so your chest can come back towards you. Allow your edge to be exciting and new. You've never been here before like this. And then bring your chin to your chest, and everyone roll down. Let your knees drop together as your feet slide out the distance of your yoga mat. It's okay to be out of breath. This is what we're training for. And then inhale, lift up. So your back bend. Plant your feet. Maybe you're going into full wheel. Maybe you're staying in bridge. Spin your toes in. Now, if you're in full wheel, squeeze your elbows towards one another. Feel your shoulders come down your back. Find your inner thighs rotating down to the ground. Rotate the inner thighs down so your hips can lift up. Push with your hips up to the ceiling like you're making the round ceiling. And then slowly lower down, keeping your knees over your ankles. Let your feet slide out and your knees fall back together. Maybe take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. So we're practicing a little bit. We're practicing courage. So you can feel your heart racing and your belly's warm and you're still going to do it. Let's do it again. Yeah, you kind of have to now, don't you? Okay, place your feet. Place your hands if you're going there. If you went there, go there again. And then inhale first to the crown of your head. Squeeze your elbows together and then inhale all the way up. So your toes are spinning in and your elbows are pressing in. Again, if you're hyperextending your elbows, try bending your elbows a little bit. It's hard. Now stretch your favorite leg up into the sky if you want a little extra. Beautiful. Really feel how much you have to work with your hips to push your hips up. Keep them that height. And then without dropping your hips, switch your legs. Maybe see if you can spin your toes in a little bit. Where's your edge? You're amazing. It might be scary, but do it anyways. And then with your exhale, come all the way back down to the ground. Let your knees fall together and your feet slide out. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take a full breath in, and with your next exhale, just sigh it out through your mouth. Oh. All right, lately this is just one of my favorite things to do after a back bend, so I'm going to have you guys do it. You're going to bring your right knee over your left knee. And then lift up your knees so your knees are exactly over your hips. And then lift up your feet so your feet are lined up with your knees. We're going into Supta Gomukhasana, reclining cow face pose. And then you take your hands to your shins and try to really reach your feet to your ears first and then slide your hands down your shins. So lift your feet higher. Yeah, now can you feel that? So it kind of looks like you're going to drive like one of those big Harleys. What you want to feel is that your lower back lets go. And by the tug of your hands pulling your shins or your feet towards you, you're stretching your gluteus maximus, plural. Still didn't find that out. Maximi, right? That's what you want to say, gluteus maximi. But that's your butt, not my butt. Wait. Same. Now lengthen the back of your neck by bringing your chin a little bit towards your chest in this scenario. And then let go of your hands with your hands and just either come into twisted root or keep your knees just crossed like that. Slide your butt a little bit to the right and drop your knees to the left. Take a full inhale, and with your exhale, just sigh out, your gaze going to the right. So we did a slightly faster paced class today. And just notice how you're feeling now compared to the first check-in. And then inhale, roll back to center. And cross your left knee over your right knee. Lift up your knees so they're stacked over your hips. Lift up your feet so they're lined up with your knees, and then reach with your feet and try to bring your feet towards your face first, and then it won't go very far. And then slide your hands down your shin, maybe to your feet if you can keep your feet flexed, and start to lovingly pull your feet towards you. So we're doing the hip, the opener first. It's okay. I just want you to not miss out on that good juiciness. We don't want your gluteus maximi to be out of balance. You'd be walking in a circle all day. But in your practice today, just notice, where did you feel like you got power? And where do you feel like you gave power? And maybe even take that question or that wondering out into your day today. What has power over me? What do I give power over me? And what do I empower? You know, one of my sneaky practices about posture is when I see someone with bad posture, I correct my own. And you might even notice sometimes when you do something like that, the other person naturally lifts up too. We want to notice how much our attention and decisions empower us and empower outside forces that we place over us. Then let go with your feet and just slide your hips a little bit to the left, maybe coming into twisted root, or just keeping your knees crossed, and drop your knees down. Take your gaze back away from your knees to the left. Take a full inhale here, and with your exhale, just sigh it out. It's so lovely because we're in this time, this age, where we know that some kind of universal laws have been said by so many different mystics and seers and wise people in all different walks of life. And this is one, right? Where know thyself. It comes from the East and the West. It comes as a divine missive, a mission. Because as we know ourselves, we know the world. As we know the world, we know ourselves. But this law goes further, way deeper. What we do to ourselves, we do to the world. Which is very uncomfortable when you look at it from the other direction. What other people are doing to themselves, they're actually doing to you. So how do you want to use your power today? Unwind your twist and find your way, stretching into Shavasana. Let your heels be relaxed and holy. Let your eyes close. Palms open to receive. Feel free to cover yourself with a blanket. If you have a hard time keeping your eyes closed, you can always cover your eyes. Notice that the solidness of the ground can hold you. So completely relax and allow your attention to stay in your body on your mat where you're absolutely relaxed. With your next inhale, allow your breath to travel to the edges of your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes and making some beautiful faces. And feel your breath and your awareness travel together. Stretch your arms over your head on your next inhale, get long, and then curl into a ball and roll onto your side. And just pause for a moment in this fetal position and feel your vitality and vibrancy. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to come to heart center. Lift the person up that you dedicated your class to in your thoughts, and your pictures. Picture them well, full of joy, fully self-expressed. Let's close our class with one Om. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. And so much love. Make some noise. Woo! Fantastic job. Thank you for practicing.